Today is an exciting day. We are getting our new excavator. That's right, we traded in all of our Bobcat equipment the other day and we got a new excavator. I'm gonna put the footage of getting the delivery of the new excavator right here. Wanted to park them side by side and get the comparable size difference from a 9,000 pound machine to a 12,500 pound machine. It's quite a bit of a difference. Check it out. It's been a couple of days since it got dropped off. I wanted to try it out first and learn the functions of it better before I showed it on camera. I got excited when they came with the new excavator because I wanted to put it side by side by the Bobcat E42 excavator. The Bobcat E42 excavator was a 9,000 pound excavator and the new XCMG excavator is a 12,500 pound excavator. And I was surprised by the size difference. When we put them side by side, I was like, wow, this machine is a lot bigger than the E42. We've had the E42 for almost 4 years now, or we had the E42 for almost 4 years. We did a lot of work with it, a lot of digging, a lot of grading, lots of different things, lots of lifting. We used it to unload our outdoor wood boiler from the trailer onto the area it is now. We did a lot of projects with it, came in really handy. There's a few things I didn't like about it. We outgrew it. We needed something bigger, and that's why we got the XCMG. So we got an XCMG XE55. This is a 12,500 pound excavator, so it's the next size up from the E42, which was a 9,000 pound excavator. And I've put in about 4 hours on this machine so far. Got it with a ditch and bucket, a tilting ditch and bucket, so that way it's bigger. It's got a flat edge on it, a cutting edge with no teeth, and it'll angle side to side. So when we're doing ditches like this, we can angle it, but it's also nice for doing finish grade. The E42 didn't have one. A lot of you probably haven't heard of an XCMG excavator. Neither had I until SR1, which is who we get our TYM tractors from, started selling them. XCMG is the third largest equipment manufacturer in the world. There's not a lot of them over here yet in the US of A. They're starting to come over here, but their third biggest, it goes CAT, Komatsu, and then XCMG. One of the reasons I went with the XCMG is because SR1 is our local dealer and they have been awesome to work with our TYM tractors. Another awesome thing about XCMG is their warranty. They have a 2-year, 2,000 hour warranty on their Kubota motor. They have a 3-year, 3,000 hour warranty on the whole machine. And then they have a 5-year, 5,000 hour warranty on the chassis and the big components. And one of the cool things about that I found out is on their warranty, they'll cover up to 300 miles round trip for the service guy to come out and work on it. So that to me is a big thing. If we have any issues with our equipment, we can call up the dealer, be like, beep, boop, beep, boop. Hey, SR1, I'm having an issue with my excavator. Can you come out, take a look at it? And they're gonna be like, yep. They're gonna ask me what's wrong with it. And they're like, okay, yep, I think that's warranty. Warranty will cover the cost of us coming out. If they don't think it's warranty, they're gonna be like, I don't think warranty is gonna cover that, or we're not sure. We'll let you know, but you might have to pay for us to come out. So this XCMG XE55 has a 42 horse Kubota engine in the back. Let's go back there, open it up, and see what we got. So back here we have the engine compartment. We have a nice Fleetguard fuel filter. The reason why I say a nice Fleetguard fuel filter is I know I can go to any parts store and pick that up. On my Bobcat E42, the fuel filter was Bobcat only, and I could only go to Bobcat to get the fuel filter, which is kind of a pain. We have our oil filter right here. No, I don't know what filter that is. That is another fuel filter. Then we have our oil filter down here. We got our Kubota motor. We have all of our EGR stuff for burning everything off. XCMG also uses standard components. This right here is a Bosch ECU. So if we're having issues, it's all standard parts and pieces we're gonna need to fix it. So even when it does go out of warranty, I'm gonna know I can fix this with local stuff if and when I need to. Over here, we have our hydraulic tank, our air filter, our coolers, our hydraulic lines, our big hydraulic valve with all of our lines right here, easy to get to. This valve right here feeds whatever you're going to be using for accessories over there. So if we're using an attachment like a jackhammer, a vibrator, or anything that needs high flow, this valve right here, I'll flip that over and that'll give me high flow up to my thumb plug-in and where my ditching bucket is. And when you don't need high flow, you just shut that off and you have your standard flow. So that way you're not using too much flow for these small attachments. We have our battery right here, easy to get to, which is nice and convenient. We have a disconnect switch here, nice and big so you can't miss it. A bunch of other electrical connectors that way. All of our hydraulic hoses are nice and easy. I like that. Here we have a lockout so that this can't fall on us. It takes 2 hands to undo it. Kind of a cool little thing I just noticed. We have a sight glass right here, and that shows you your hydraulic fluid if you're low or not. So that is nice. You don't gotta open your hood to see in there. This has another little safety latch right here so the door can't blow shut on you when you're working on it. So when I'm comparing this XCMG, I'm gonna be comparing it to my Bobcat E42 I used to have because that's what I've been used to running. One of the things I didn't like about my Bobcat is a lot of the stuff were proprietary to Bobcat. You had to order them through Bobcat only, even a fuel filter, so that was a pain. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. CMG 50 with a front blade on it. It's a 4-way blade. It'll go up and down and then in and out. It's not a 6-way. They don't make a 6-way, but it's a 4-way. And that's what I really wanted to have, was a 4-way. I found the 4-way blade comes in very handy when you're building roads. A couple of things I've noticed just by running it for 4 hours is a few things that I really like. One of them is it has multiple hookups for hydraulics on the front. So our thumb is hooked up and it's still running. It has a shutoff valve. And then it has 2 other ports where you could put other connectors, and you would shut this valve off if you wanted to use one of these. But it has another port on this side. That is what our ditching bucket is hooked up to. I can use my ditching bucket and have the thumb being able to work at the same time. So I don't want to use my thumb when my ditching bucket is at an angle, but I like having the option of being able to use the thumb if my ditching bucket is straight. And then if I'm not using the thumb, I can use my ditching bucket on an angle, and I don't have to get out of the cab to shut valves off to do that. I can do that inside the cab, which is very convenient. So I've used the ditching bucket to do a little bit of cleanup on a ditch. I flipped my compost pile with it so far, and that's about it. I used it enough to wear the bottom of the paint off on the ditching bucket. This ditching bucket is an SRS, 4-foot long ditching bucket. It has 2 hydraulic pistons on it. It's really nice to have a 4-foot wide bucket. I didn't know if that was gonna be too wide of a bucket for this little excavator, but what I've used it for so far, it has come in so handy. I really like having a finish edge on the bucket for grading and ditching and just smoothing everything out. I have not had a chance to try it out yet, but it's got a hydraulic coupler. So that way when I want to change out my bucket, I just go in the cab, I hit a button, and that little yellow thing right there goes in, and I can disconnect from my bucket, hook on to the other bucket, hit the button again, and that coupler is going to lock. So I don't got to get out of the cab to change the bucket or change over to different attachments, which is going to be really nice. My E42 had the quick exchange. That's what Bobcat called it. I want to say it's probably like one of the first versions of it. It had a pin. You had to get out of the cab, pull a couple of cotter pins, push like a big 1.5-inch pin through the bucket, get back in the cab, take your bucket off, go over to your new one, line everything up, get it in, and then you had to line up your holes and get the big pin in, and then put your little cotter pins in. Not a huge deal, but it took some time. You had to have a sledgehammer out. You had to line everything up perfectly. This one, you're not supposed to have to. We haven't tried it out yet, but we will. So yeah, I think that's it for the big features outside that I've noticed. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that. We have 2 lights up high above the cab. We have 1 light right there. They're all LED lights. They are nice and bright. We have a floodlight on the back, an antenna We have a strobe light, so when we're running, that is blinking. When you're moving the excavator, it's got an alarm, so if you're going forward or backwards, you're hearing a little backup alarm going off. I was gonna unplug that, but I have my dog, Brutus, and he loves being around the equipment when it's running. So I'm gonna leave that on, so that way, when I'm working and moving it, he's gonna hear it and learn to get out of the way, because I don't need to squish his toes. That would not be good. Another little cool feature I found out is we got grease fittings on our door hinges. My Bobcat didn't have that. I definitely like that, so that way we can get rid of a squeaky door. If we have it, put a little bit of grease in there, get rid of that. Our grease fittings have covers. That might come in handy to keep the dirt out. I'm gonna have to go around, clean everything up, and put those on after, because that should keep the Zerk fittings lasting longer. We got a couple of grease Zerks over here, and that'll go under and grease everything underneath the chassis. We have a locking fuel cap, got a locking door, and none of those things are a big deal, but the thing I do like about this one, they're all key to like. My Bobcat had a different key for the door, a different key for the fuel cap, and then it just had an electronic ignition, so you didn't need a key for that. So you had to have different keys everywhere else, so that was kind of a pain. This one is nice, you just have the one key that fits everything. So it's just gonna be handy. I don't gotta worry about having extra keys in my pocket to take the fuel cap off and stuff like that. We have an emergency shut off right here. We have a little glass brake hammer over here. So if we roll the excavator over, we can shut it off and then use our hammer to brake our way out. We have our key. This is our throttle control, our wiper blade, heat and air conditioning controls right here. We have a radio. It comes with a fire extinguisher. I gotta put that somewhere. We have our outside lights. We have the angle for our tilt blade right here. It's a Targo switch. This switch right here is to change the controls over from John Deere or Cat. And this is to unhook your hydraulic coupler for your bucket. You can see the yellow pin right there. This is to raise and lower our front blade. The one little thing I don't like so far is I gotta reach back here to use the Targo switch to tilt my angle blade. That's kind of inconvenient. On the Bobcat E42, we had a little Targo switch on our hand controls to do that. This one, it's not bad, it's just you gotta reach behind yourself. So it's just awkward feeling. It's not easy. It is nice having the switch right here to go from John Deere to Cat controls. I'm a John Deere guy. For me, I call those backhoe controls. That's the way I've learned how to run equipment. I cannot run with Caterpillar controls. Let me know, which way can you run a piece of equipment, John Deere or Cat? And then can you get into a piece of equipment that is running the opposite direction and use it? I can't. This got dropped off and it was running cat-wise, and I was like, man, I gotta find a switch to switch this over, because the Bobcat, I had that set up on backhoe controls. That's how any piece of equipment that I've ever operated is on when I'm running it. So yeah, trying to do it with Cat controls, nah, that ain't happening. So what else do we have? We got a little armrest here, which is nice. We have an armrest on this side that we gotta put down. The seat is comfortable. It's a little stiff, but I'm sure it'll break in a little bit. I'm not a big guy, so it might take a little while to get me to break that in. But let's turn this thing on and I'll show you the dash. All right, before I start it, let's go here. This is going to be for our control menu. We have usage inquiries, usage settings, system information. So let's go see what that one is. Check. Operation information, faults, service. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go down one. User information settings, check. So right here we can see our hour meter, our time, our language, brightness, machine tools, knobs. We have auto on or off. And we have high, low. When you have the auto on, when you're running the machine, it'll stay at your idle, but once you stop running it for a little bit, there's a time delay. It'll idle back down, so it's not revving up high when you're not using it, and then when you touch your controls, it automatically revs back up. It comes in kind of handy. Rabbit and Turtle one, that is for high-low speed. I usually keep it in low when I am running the piece of equipment, and then when I want to drive back and forth, I put it to fast speed, and then we can go faster than that. So let's get this thing fired up. One little feature I will say is my Bobcat had a handle here to unlock the door. This one I gotta go outside and hook my button. Not a big deal, but I had a nice little handle to unhook that. And I don't see anything inside to unhook that in here. So, not a big deal, but it was kind of nice. So right now I can use my thumb, and I can also use the ditching bucket, which I'm not going to use them at the same time, but if I have my ditching bucket on and I need my thumb, I can use it without having to get out of the cab and change over my hydraulics. That is really handy. And we have our blade, and then I got to reach to my back and I can use the angle. I think that's it. We have our lights. I don't know if you can see them or not, but the lights are on. Got my front cab window I can open up. So over here I have a place to rest my feet when I don't want to be moving with my controls. This one right here, you pop it up, and that's how you move your boom over to the left or right. That goes quite a bit. Well, let's just go over and play over here a little bit before we go and do some grade work with it. Let's go work with the ditching bucket a little bit, try some different things out, see how we like it, and then we'll do some finish work with it to see how it does finishing off some things. I have a few stumps over here that get in my way from mowing. We got one right here, and then one over there, another one up there, and there's a bunch going that way. These alders are kind of growing over. Let's get these pulled out. Let's see how the XE55 does compared to what I'm used to with the E42. We'll just work our way this way. We got some other stuff we need to do, but I just kind of want to try pulling out some stumps, see how it goes. Now I know those weren't any huge stumps, but they had a good root ball to them that spread out, and this thing pulled them out effortlessly. I can't believe how much more power the X55 has over the E42 that I had. There's a lot more power with this machine than the E42, and speed-wise, I am surprised with how fast it is. I have this on turtle mode, and I only turn it up to 3 on the RPMs. I don't turn it up. It goes from 1 to 10. When I'm working it, I go to 3, and I'm on turtle mode, and it is a lot quicker and more responsive than my E42 ever was. That was one of the things when I first got in and moved this around. Before I got rid of the E42, I was like, whoa, this is so fast. And then I'm like, I gotta get my E42 right now and see. And then the E42 is just like, meh. So I was surprised. I know there's 9 years difference there, so it could be the age difference. Not sure, just know what I've used, and this is a lot faster. Brutus, did you scare that turkey up in the tree? I'm gonna take that as a yes. Now another thing I want to try using the new excavator with the ditching bucket on is right here. I'll show you, I don't know how well you can see it, but I'll get down the camera at a different angle. But there's like a little swale right here where I had buried the water line this past spring. And it's kind of a divot. It's high over here, and low in the center, and it's at an angle. So I want to see if I can get the ditching bucket, because it's got no teeth, it's nice and flat, and then I'm able to angle it and get the high spot at a nice tapered level so that it's nice smooth transition. Does the same thing over here. So let's see what we can do. I know the machine can do it, just gotta see if I can do it. There's new things to learn now with a ditching bucket and new things to come. So I don't know if I told you that ditching bucket is 48 inches wide. One of the things I think it's kind of cool to put it into perspective is the bucket on the Kubota is 48 inches wide. So that's how much room we have to work with on the excavator. So it should work out really good for ditching, swilling, and grading off and getting everything nice and flat. It's nice having a finished bucket so I can actually do stuff like that without tearing it up. I like that a lot. Having a finished bucket with a nice flat edge being 4 feet wide is really nice. It might not look like it, but man, this is gonna come in so handy for finishing grades and just making everything nice and smooth. I gotta get better with it, and that's what we're gonna keep doing, but I'm already loving it. It's making a huge difference to be able to fill in the highs and the lows. Yeah, I'm gonna get this done before winter comes, so that way when we're plowing, we have a nice smooth spot to plow and we're not leaving ponds and ice patches and stuff like that. So the more we can get this nice and flat, the better it'll be this winter. I like those areas. Now I want to come over here. It's high over this way. I want to smooth it out and kind of push the extra stone this way up against the fence, see how far we can get. We're going to need more stone. I don't have enough to finish in here, but I don't think that'll get done before winter. I think we have other higher priorities. So if we can get this majority done, I think we'll be good. I just want to get it smoothed out, get it so when I'm coming in here to plow or to snow blow, I don't have gullies that are going to be staying. I want to make sure the water is going to run the way we want it to. If we get this area cleaned up this way, it'll be good. All this is going to flow this way and that way. Come springtime, it'll be a little muddy. Over here, here, and here. Not too bad, but it'll be some muddy because we don't got enough stone down. But we'll have to wait to take care of it till later. But let's get this fixed up. Maybe this spot will have enough stone that I can kind of spread it and get everything nice. We're going to find out. So far there's a lot more material over here that I can scrape up and spread out, so we might be able to get all of this area fixed up. It's gonna be interesting to see how far we can get, but it's pretty hard packed. I drive that area quite a bit, once a week at least, with the big tractor, so it's been packed down hard like concrete, so it took a little bit to scrape it up. I am loving the ditching bucket. The flat edge is awesome for doing stuff like this. All right, that stone actually went a lot further just by cleaning up all this area than I thought it would. I got a little bit of hand raking to do, but man, it is looking good. Looking at it, I'm making the grade. It's all gonna come this way, and that way. So yeah, time to get the rake. Barnyard is looking nice. It's all compacted. I don't have enough stone for over here, but that's all right. The big spot is done. I have a little bit of stone left over there by the Kubota. I need to clean that area up and get a nice flat spot leveled out for another little parking area and have it nice and easy for plowing this winter. It just got done compacting this area. It's looking good. Glad to have this all done. So now when we do get some snow, we got a place to plow it to. We're not plowing in mud. I wanted to pack it because we're getting some rain, and I don't like having it not packed because then it just gets really muddy and rutted up. Packing it really makes the water be able to wash off and you don't get all the ruts and the mud. So yeah, I'm happy to have this done. I'm loving the new XCMG XE55. The thing is a beast. I can't wait to use it more. I think we got probably 6-7 hours on it right now, so we got a little bit of seat time in it, which I am happy with. Excited to use it some more. Let me know what you guys think of it. Have you ever heard of XCMG before? I think you're going to start seeing a lot of them around. When I'm driving around now, I see them pop up quite a bit. I'm happy with it. I'm glad we got rid of the Bobcats and got the new XCMG. But this is where we're going to end this video. Thanks for coming along on our homesteading journey. You guys are a huge blessing to us in our homestead. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, share, subscribe, and we'll see you right back here in the next video. Bye.